We're back with another look at the Addison Early Childhood Collaborative. As we talked about last time, it's a wonderful resource for families here in Addison. I'm here with Mary Haley from the Collaborative, as well as Mary Ann Picorni from YWCA of Metropolitan Chicago, one of the partners of the Collaborative. Mary, as we mentioned last time, a lot of people don't really understand what AECC does. So once again, give us the thumbnail sketch of what the Collaborative does.
Sure, the thumbnail sketch is that we're a group of about 50 different organizations here in Addison and in DuPage County that work together collectively and in a coordinated way to provide services to families so that children are getting support they need, so that they're ready to start school when kindergarten comes around. And
it's a lot more than educational services, even though that's the focus, right?
Absolutely, it's much more than that. We have partners including Easter Seals, YWCA, of course, the DuPage County Health Department, Project Help, the different education providers. So it's the holistic realm of partners that provide services to support really any need that families have.
And they can access the Collaborative in so many different ways. I mean, I know they can come directly to you, but because of these partnerships, the agencies themselves know how to network with one another, right?
They sure do. We have them working together on a regular basis so that relationships are built not only between myself and all of the partner organizations, but even more importantly, between the partner organizations with each other, so that they have good working relationships and know to be reaching out to each other and working together.
So since we saw you a couple months ago, what are the kinds of things the Collaborative's been doing? What have you been working on?
We have been focused on Kindergarten University. The elementary school district held that meeting last week so that all of the new parents with kids entering kindergarten could come and spend a few hours and learn about how to prepare for kindergarten and how to help their kids get ready for the transition. We've also been hosting monthly parent meetings for parents in the community to get them together to talk about issues that are on their mind, and it's really driven by the parents and what their interests are. And then we've started to prepare for the community breakfast that we'll touch on a little bit later.
So that's a really good example of how, you know, whether you happen to be at that meeting or not, the schools themselves are letting incoming parents, and that's a really intimidating time for the parents, especially if it's their first child getting in there. What do I need to know? What do I need to do to prepare?
Sure, exactly, and that's the whole point of it, so that everybody is feeling comfortable and parents are feeling equipped to do what they need to do to prepare their kids, especially so that when the first day of school or the first week or few weeks rolls around, everybody's feeling as comfortable as possible.
And kindergarten is so different than it used to be. It's not glorified babysitting and nap time and snack time. I mean, the kids from day one are kind of starting out their education.
They're starting out their education, but there's still a fair amount of play that goes on. I think the important thing that we want to keep in mind is we want all children in the Addison community to be up to speed and ready to roll when kindergarten comes around, so that the achievement gap that we hear about in education isn't hindering any of the children in Addison as they start their school experience. So by having services that are available to them and then having access to quality early childhood care, we know that all kids will be able to be prepared for kindergarten and for school beyond that.
And YWCA is a prime example of that kind of partnership. Introduce your relationship with them a little bit.
Sure, I would love to. The YWCA is an important partner to us because they provide a nice portfolio of services that supports childcare. They have the childcare referral service. They also provide information so that parents can know how to assess the quality of childcare, and they also provide information about financial access to financial support for services. So they're integral to the work that we do because of their focus on childcare services support. In addition to that, the YWCA, along with several other of our core partners, was a founding member of the Addison Early Childhood Collaborative. So before we had grant support to do this work. We had several partners that came together because they were so committed to this work, and the YWCA was one of those partners that helped found the Addison Early Childhood Collaborative and has really helped it grow and gain the momentum that we have. On a regular basis, we have to produce work, and it's often members of their staff that are a part of the work groups that actually do the work of the collaborative.
Wow.
So a very valuable partner.
And Mary Ann, as Mary had mentioned in our previous interview, not every community has this kind of resource like the collaborative. Why, from YWCA's standpoint, is something like this important?
It's so important because it really, families have to navigate such difficult systems. So we've really brought together all of the different agencies who I know are integral in helping families in Addison. The services were very fragmented prior to this, so we really brought together all the partners that we know. We call it community systems building, which is really focusing on who needs to be in Addison at this table to make things easier and accessible for families and children. So really looking at all of the partners, all the nonprofits, the school district, and what we really appreciate is the partnership with the school district and the child care providers, because we know that learning begins at birth, and it's so important. And so they're really looking at the child care provider as an integral part of the educational system, where that's not always happening in all communities. Our child care providers want to know what's important and what they need to be teaching children from the beginning to enter school ready to learn.
So this is really preschool oriented, not we're just going to babysit the kid while the parent is at work.
We really do a lot of training for child care providers. We've also expanded to training within the community. We just had a really ages and stages, an ASQ training, which is a developmental screening that the Addison Library had us come out and do with their staff, because they wanted to be more part of this learning process, and they see children in their department all the time. So how can they work with parents to assess children in case they see some delays, get those remedied early?
Wow. So let me back up for a moment. I think everyone is familiar with YWCA, and at the same time may not know exactly the mission of your organization. What kind of services do you provide in addition to this?
Well, we have a very large mission to empower women and eliminate racism, and we do that through 3 different kind of venues. It's education and training, economic sustainability, and safety and wellness. And the pieces that I'm talking about today, like the economic sustainability, is part of the child care assistance program. So families, we know child care is very expensive.
Yes.
So they can come to us, and based on their income, we can possibly get them through the program to get assistance. We also can direct them to quality child care. And there's an Accelerate rating system where we do the training for childcare, and we can help them find the best quality childcare, or maybe a Park District program, Head Start and Early Head Start. Prior to this collaboration, we didn't. We only had 399 childcare slots within Addison community. We now have 664. There was no Head Start. We have 102 Head Start slots, and we also have 16 Early Head Starts. And the YWCA just received a grant for Early Head Start within the child care system. So we actually have a center-based and a family child care that's going to be doing Early Head Start for some of your youngest, most vulnerable members of the community.
And that's got to make a huge impact later on down the road for kids once they enter elementary school and that kind of thing, because they're so prepared or so much better prepared when they start in the school district.
It does. As Mary Ann said, we know that learning begins at birth, and it's crucial that children have access to not just formal education, but that their parents know the things that they can be doing at home that aren't complicated, like reading to children on a regular basis, like speaking to them and just letting them know what's going on all day long. There are a lot of simple things that families can be doing around language development that can help children be ready for school. So the extent to which we can impact families like that, children will be ready to learn, and the brain development that happens between birth and age 3 will be maximized, hopefully, so that as kids start in school, they won't be dealing with an achievement gap. And as Marianne mentioned, a lot of what we focus on are some of the families that are under-resourced and some of the kids that are pretty vulnerable. And those are the same people that will have disparities with health and financial disparities. So this is really part of a solution that can touch and impact many different areas of people's lives. Does that make sense as I'm describing it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when a family is referred to or contacts YWCA, what is the process that they go through in order to receive a referral for a child care center?
Sure, we look at whether they'd like it in their community or maybe perhaps where they work, and then we will give them a list, and maybe the child would have special needs, special hours. So we work with the family to find the best fit. Or, perhaps it might be a Head Start or Early Head Start program, and then blended with childcare. So we do a lot of the different techniques as far as meeting the family's need.
Now, and you also mentioned, your focus is on women. Some of those other areas, other than the economic sustainability, for instance, the health and safety, there are other programs YWCA provides. You want to mention those, even though they're not entirely
Sure.
with the collaborative?
Thank you. Yes, we have the Sexual Violence Counseling Program, our SVSS program. We have the hotline for DuPage County. We also do educational programs within the school districts, many of the school districts, and training children on safety issues around safety. We also have a Women's Health Exchange website now where people can go and access different trainings and components. We're going to be doing something here, and if they visit our YWCA website, they can see the list of topics and trainings that are coming up in the local area as well as in the metro area.
Great. Well, Mary, tell us a little bit about what the collaborative has coming up in the next couple of months.
Sure, we'll be happy to. We're focused right now on the community breakfast. That's going to take place on June 20th, and it's going to be from 7:30 in the morning until about 9:30 that morning. What we're hoping to do is reach many Addison businesses. So we've described to you the infrastructure that we have in place and the relationships that we have in place between the nonprofits and the education sector and all of our partners. What we'd like to start doing as a group is to start engaging more of the Addison businesses in the work we do, and specifically from the standpoint of how this can benefit their employees. As Marianne was talking about childcare and the stability of childcare, that's something that really impacts parents with young children. Being able to be at work and be able to be focused and productive because they're not worrying about what's going on with their children in their childcare setting is important, and it genuinely impacts employers' bottom line. And that's something that we want to start talking to the Addison employers about, and then from there we hope to start to establish relationships where we're working with interested employers and having some of our partners come in and do things like lunch and learns and other ways of sharing information about the services that are available. So the community breakfast is a big focus for us, and then we're also starting to talk about and plan for our annual resource fair. In September, we have a resource fair where most of the partners get together at the Addison School District at the elementary location and have most of the partners and the information about the services they provide there for parents to learn about what's going on. So we're starting to talk about resource fair in September as well.
Regarding the community breakfast, is this something that's open to any business members within the community then?
It is. Any business member that's interested in coming to learn about the topic is interested. We've started to promote the event and have put it out through our communication vehicles, and we'll continue to do that for the next few weeks. But it's going to take place at the Addison Library, and again, it's on Tuesday, June 20th at 7:30 in the morning for a couple of hours.
What has been the response from some of the businesses you've spoken with so far? I mean, I know last time we spoke you had spoken with Clyde's Donuts, things like that. What are you hearing from the business community?
What we're hearing is that there are employers in Addison that that are very interested in engaging with the collaborative because they care about their employees, they care about demonstrating to their employees that they want more than just bottom line results, and they want to be able to offer benefits to their employees like the types of services that our collective partnership provides. So we're hearing an interest from employers from that perspective, and very much focused on what we can do for them, for their employees right now. There's an element to the work that we do that is about the impact we can have in the long term on the quality of the workforce, and I think that's very real, and that concept can be meaningful to business leaders, but even more in the immediate term, there are ways that we can be impacting or helping their employees, and that inevitably helps their bottom line
Absolutely.
right now.
Yeah, you make a good point. When a worker doesn't have to worry about that kind of thing, that boosts their productivity right
Absolutely.
there.
And when an employer is bringing in services and other resources to help their employees, that strengthens the relationship between employees and employers,
true.
and there's such value in that.
If someone wants more information about these events, Mary, how would they go about finding that out?
There are a few different ways. The Addison Early Childhood Collaborative has a Facebook page, and we also have a website. So someone can Google the Addison Early Childhood Collaborative, or they can call me directly. My phone number is 630-458-2470. So any of those methods will enable somebody to get a hold of me or one of our partners and start to get the information that they need.
Okay, and Mary Ann, if someone wanted to find out more about YWCA or access some of those services, how would they do that?
YWCA of Metropolitan Chicago has a website, and we're also located right here in Addison. We have an office at 2055 East Army Trail Road.
Okay, great. Well, thank you both so much for being here. We'll be talking periodically with members or partners of the Addison Early Childhood Collaborative, so stay tuned in the future here on ACTV. I'm Dory Croggy. Thanks for joining us.